Today on Makeshift, I require a dictionary. Is commiserated the right word? I don't know. Inhaling rubber fumes finally gets to me. That gives me 5 more of these, and now I'm 1 short. I need 4 more mastic. Oh my god. And I let loose my inner conservationalist. I can throw garbage in the ocean and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Today, we're building on the premise from the last episode. We're adding even more block generators to our brand new Cyberpunk port and beginning the decoration process for the exterior. We are getting a mammoth amount of stuff done today. So like and subscribe, grab your snacks, sit back, relax, and welcome back to Makeshift SMP. I am a lying liar who lies. Because in the previous episode, whenever I started building out this port over here, I entitled the video, I automated almost every single lava generator block. And, well, I've become aware that I wasn't just missing one, I was missing a lot. At the very end of the last episode, I said that I was going to fill this one right here with liquid garnish, because liquid garnish will generate calcite, and I'm going to need calcite in order to automate diorite, which will then help me automate andesite. I think. I could automate andesite in a couple different ways, actually. And then I thought that I would have a good portion of all of the lava generator blocks done, right? No. I'm like not even close. In fact, I was incredibly close to a couple more lava generator blocks that I could have done in the last episode I didn't think about it. When these liquid dyes flow into lava, they generate concrete, which is a really good colorful block that I could use. And so today, I think we're going to kick it off by just making a whole bunch of liquids, more liquids. And we'll throw those together and a couple more of these cobblestone generators, or, well, lava generators. And just like that, I have all 16 of these colors again, and we can start generating some liquid garnish. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, the recipe for this is way simpler than I thought it was. It's just sugar, some sort of seed, and water. And I just need to have the heated blaze burner below, which is, I mean, mundane potion. Heck. All right, sugar, wheat, and water. Yeah, we got liquid garnish. And the last lava generator blocks that I want to do come from a thing called resin. I have no idea what this crafting tree looks like. I'm a little scared. Yeah, so there's a color for every single one of these dyed mastic resins. I assume that these can just be dyed, right? Oh, I can even bulk dye them in the bucket form. Okay, that's great. So I just need to make 16 colors of mastic resin, or rather 16 base mastic resins, which is made by heating blocks of mastic resin. How do you make a block of mastic resin? Mastic paste. Mastic paste comes from mastic resin. Huh? Oh, wheat seeds, slime ball, sugar. Can do. That's actually not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. And let's go get some stuff. And so I don't mess this recipe up, I'm going to throw mastic resin into this list filter. Boop, bop, bing. So now I've got 9 of these, and I can use these to make mastic paste. Toss these guys on one of these. Bada bing. And now I should be able to do this. No. Oh, I have to use a compactor? Hilarious. Okay, now I've got my mastic resin. Now make it, oh, this only makes a quarter of it. Well, at least now we know the crafting tree. I'm gonna make a bunch of this. I'll bring you back whenever it's done. Okay, I was gonna bring you back whenever I was done making all this liquefied resin stuff, but it's way more expensive than I thought. So I'm gonna need like a lot more slime. And well, I mean, I guess I do have a bunch of wheat left. I was gonna run back over to my old starter base and run the slime farm really quick because like I have like 1 block of slime left. But I did grab a ton of wheat from a couple episodes back. So I could just crush this, I guess. They really need to make a better way to like request thousands of items. They're like 4.5K. That'll work. And then we'll send that to the crushing wheels. There it goes. Oh, it's so fast. It's so fast. Automation. And we will send this to get washed. And then we'll just send all of this stuff over to get dyed lime. And that'll turn this into slime. Boom. And now let's go make some liquefied mastic resin. Hopefully this is enough to make 16 buckets. I don't feel like counting it. And then I should be able to compact all of this into mastic blocks. And then I can toss a bunch of these into here if I add the list filter for this. Yes, I should be able to throw those in there and swap this to a mixer. And now I think I just need a bunch of buckets. Liquefied resin. It's an advancement. Obtain any bucket of mastic resin. Nice. Oh no. I do not have enough. Frickin' heck. Several minutes of inhaling rubber fumes later. Alright, throw the pastification stuff in there. That gives me 5 more of these, and now I'm 1 short. I need 4 more master oh my god. Oh my goodness, and with these last 16 blocks, and by swapping this back over to a mixer, I will finally have 16 buckets of wow. This took forever. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh. And the dyeing process for this should be super simple. Since this is already green, I'm going to assume there's no green version of this. Yeah, I can dye it lime. Oh, there is green mastic resin. So then what's the color that's missing? Because there's only 16 buckets. Or is there 17? Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh my god, there's 17. No! Well, I'll get that one off camera. This last little thing we need to do is we need to dye all of these. So I'm just going to drop one of these into every single one of these. At the end, I should have a bucket for every single color. And there they go. And so now I can grab up the rest of these liquid buckets. Grab up a few more buckets of lava. I'm sure I'm going to need them. And now we can throw in a few more of those generators. This first one here is already done for us because I already had this one set up. But all I got to do is drop down a bucket of liquid garnish right here. Help it flow the entire way by adding a temporary block right there and removing it. And then adding some glass over the top. And now if I remove these, we should... Yes, we're going to generate calcite. Nice. Oh, automatic calcite is great. If I go ahead and crush this, I get bone meal. 75% chance. That's a really decent bone meal farm immediately. Apparently, I can also sieve this into lapis lazuli. And the recipe I'm probably after is this one here to generate diorite. I don't foresee myself using tons of diorite, but just having it on hand so that I can crush it into quartz or whatever is just going to be useful all around. Also, I didn't really get the chance to mention in the last episode, but between this first block breaker farm right here and all the others, I switched up my tactic. I added lava to the outside so that I was only using one of each of the liquids inside the farms. As long as the liquid touches both sides, it generates that block. And while this method isn't really necessary for this one, I do want to go ahead and use lava in the center on the next few farms because I can have each side generating a different block. Let's take these dye buckets specifically. I can have brown on one side and then I can have red on the other, meaning that we're getting 9 each time one row of this breaks. I can divide it up even further using this method over here where I have a half a vault, and then I can have 4 colors per one size of a normal farm. Since the speed at which I'm going to be obtaining these blocks isn't super important, I can have these run in the background whenever I'm over here, AFK, and then I'll just have them on hand for whenever I need them. But you know, I just realized I never actually told you guys what the mastic resin generates. These blocks are called zoltanite, and it has a colored version of every single one of these. Lots of stairs and slabs with cut variations and polish variations, meaning that that block is probably going to be my best friend, especially when it comes to highly detailed decoration. Now, I'm going to grab up a few more vaults, and we're going to throw in a bunch more of these farms in a bit of a time lapse. Let's go! Nothing's worse than filming an entire segment and then realizing your mic was muted. Man, that's frustrating. So I just spent the last few minutes summing up all the stuff that we just made progress on, and I made like a whole segment about how I connected up all of these new vaults to our chain link network via these frogs and these packagers and stock links, added in a bunch of new attribute filters so that I can sort all these items and make them look clean, and commiserated over the fact that I kind of ran this road directly into where these vaults are going to go. Is commiserated the right word? I don't know. But yeah, all these block generators are working beautifully. In fact, they're working so well, they're not actually working anymore. They're all pretty much full. See, I've thrown a threshold switch on the side of each of these, limiting the amount that I want of each of the items to 389 stacks. And then I filter the threshold switch with whatever the block is that I'm trying to measure. It's probably a cleaner solution than what I did up here, where I actually physically separated the vaults. I probably could have cut out this whole thing here and just done one of these and then done that. But whatever, you live and you learn. But with all of these blocks that I now have access to in vast quantities, it's time to get this place decorated up. Expanding on this premise that we made in the last episode, I want to have a big cyberpunk pier where ships can come and dock and deliver items and stuff. Not that I actually need them to deliver items, I'm pretty much generating everything on this island, but it's fine. It's for the lore. Plus, I mean, most of the buildings that I'm going to put over there in the city are actually going to be completely empty, and they're going to be purely for the vibes anyway. I added in a layer of stone to this entire thing in between episodes and raised it up a few more blocks. And so I'm not going totally insane trying to break these blocks in a quick and easy manner. I decided to throw together this pickaxe in between episodes as well, and now have an efficiency 6 silk touch pickaxe. So I can grab up a bunch of this terracotta, maybe a little bit of concrete, and we can start marking out a few more things. Grabbing out my chisel from the chipped mod, I can go ahead and throw these yellow concretes into here, and I can make some striped yellow concrete. That's going to be a really nice perimeter block that'll tell me like where I want people to kind of like be cautious. And it's got this cool connected texture. And then maybe on the opposite side of that, we can have another layer of this cyan terracotta, where we then can start working in a little bit more of this stone. I think as far as like an actual realistic version of concrete, stone looks pretty much spot on. One of the only real contenders being this cut stone that we have here. Ooh, as far as like a seam goes, this blank stone carving, oh no. Chipped mod, why do you do this? Why are these directional? Why can I not turn? Like this literally looks like this is the same texture almost. But the difference is I can turn this one. Why can't I turn this one? What are you doing to me? Okay, I can kind of mimic some seams with these two types. It's so frustrating that I have to use two different types for this. But if I make half of these stacked stone bricks and the other half like vertical cut stone, I can probably do some type of seams here. Come on, chipped mod, do better. Oh my god, these guys are using my pier as like a little jumping off point. You can't swim in these waters. Yeah, whatever. They'll get hit by a boat. Ooh, I gotta say, the freedom of just being able to like break blocks and let them fall into the water and not go get them is just... I can throw garbage in the ocean and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh my goodness. I see a flying queso.
Oh.
Hello. He punched me. Oh. Bye.
This is a lot. Wow, okay. The last time I was here, you had the oak room, you had the limestone, you had the deep slate, and you had the sandstone, and is that scoria or scorchia? I can't remember for the life of me.
Scorchia. It's scorched. It's black. It's scorched.
Gosh, gorcha. And then you've done, what is that, the concretes?
Every single concrete, and then every single zoltanite, and then calcite over here.
Oh, you did calcite?
Yeah, liquid garnish. So now I have a ton of that. And what else did I do? Is there any others? No. I have an empty slot over here to do like one more, but I don't think there's any other block generators. Is there? What?
Cobblestone.
Well, I already have a cobblestone generator.
Oh, okay. I mean, you were asking, I'm telling.
I do think I'll ship that over here to process it, though. It would make more sense. Although I'm like kind of wondering how else to expand on this island. Like I'm kind of taking up a lot of space. I'm going to generate more blocks, but I need more space. So I'm thinking maybe I have to go up. I don't really know. I also want to put one of those big things.
What do you mean generate more? What more do you want to generate, bro? You got everything.
So the only reason I generated like sandstone and scorchia and all these other stuff is for the subsequent things you can like craft with them. Like the pumpkin milkshake is used to make, oh, I guess this one's for breccia, which I don't care as much about. So
yeah,
maybe this is a bad example. But if I go over here to, this is vanilla milkshake, right?
Vanilla.
Yeah, but you use sandstone plus vanilla milkshake to make azurine and obviously lava.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make the azurine. But it's not going to be like this. Obviously, I can't generate it with a lava generator or a block generator like this. I have to do hydro impacting
heated blaze burners.
Yeah, also that, which I had this like realization. Actually, I think you told me probably, but like superheated blaze burners can use the blaze cores that we're using for the, what are they called? And this is just super simple. It's just lava and flint and steel. So I'm definitely just going to do that to superheat blaze burners.
Speaking of, I think we're doing extremely similar things at completely different scales.
Yeah, I think you're doing like massive, like stupid fast, and I'm just like passive gen, slow stuff.
Yeah, the farm I have in mind will fill a vault of iron ingots in like 10 minutes.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, it's also the sound the hydraulic presses make.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Anyways, this looks cool, man. Everything you're building is just so cool.
Oh, thanks. I kind of hope so. Always lovely to talk to K-Saw. I've seen what he's working on in between episodes for his other series. He's doing like some cool stuff with aeronautics. You guys should go check him out. He's doing some big brain stuff that I can hardly comprehend. But yeah, we've got the port marked out with some awesome hazard textures. I went ahead and added in some of this like yellow zoltanite and some like chipped versions of the yellow terracotta just to give it some variety. Like the painted kind of started to peel and crack and stuff. And now it looks a lot better from the air. It doesn't look so samey. Although I'm realizing now that I probably need to go in and add some texture in this section right here. Whatever. It's fine. And I've also started breaking out some of these segments here and adding in some more of these structures. I want to break up this texture so it's not so samey all the way down, and I want to start expanding on this. Also, yes, I took away the overhang. I'm going to do something different, a lot bigger. But I'm going to do that in a bit of a time lapse. Yeah, I know this is time lapse number 2. Just bear with me. I'm sorry. I just work better whenever I don't have to iterate it. Let's go. All right, I don't think anybody expected that time lapse to be that long or that full of stuff. I mean, that was a lot of hours. That was a lot of hours of building, and I'm pretty stoked the way this thing is starting to come out. Don't mind that. I forgot to rotate that. In fact... But yeah, obviously there's a lot to go still. There's lots and lots and lots of stuff to do. But I don't think I need to get this thing completely finished up in one episode. Obviously, we have all of our lovely farms inside here, and they are still working beautifully. They supplied most, if not all, of the blocks that are here. I mean, just not including iron, which I'm realizing in retrospect is actually a lot of this. This build should be sponsored by the Metal Mart. But I'm super happy with the way this thing is starting to come out. Lots of little cool details and things. Obviously, lots of it is just kind of like massive walls, and there's obviously lots still to go, like lots and lots to go. But I worked on that time lapse for like more than 7-8 hours. I'm not actually sure. And so I don't completely lose my mind, I'm gonna call that time lapse there, and I'm thinking we can kind of start talking about the layout of the area. First and foremost, this place is here for functionality. It's not just here for decorative purposes, which is unlike some of the builds that I have over there in the actual city. So obviously I've got all my lava block generators over on this side, and over on this side I've got a nice decent space behind my like dyeing thing where I can actually start generating some of these blocks. The best part about these farms is that they are literally just a basin and a hydraulic press. Just pretend that's a hydraulic press. I don't actually have any on me. Now, obviously, the things that go inside this that's to supply the actual stuff to make the blocks is going to be like, you know, that's a whole different story. But I'm kind of hoping I can fit everything inside this building. Now, I'm not going to dig into any of these crafting trees in this episode, but I wanted to just lay it out so we know what we're in for. In order to make azurine, we will need 3 components. We already have access to our sandstone via our block generator. We'll need some supply of lava and access to vanilla milkshake in infinite quantities, meaning we're going to have to make vanilla milkshake in infinite quantities. And I kind of walked through how to make these guys in a different episode, but I'll need to have infinite access to sugar, snowballs, milk, and dandelions or blue orchids. The nearest swamp farm is literally so far away from me, and I have drafted up a farm to actually go farm blue orchids specifically, but it's so far. I did talk to K-Saw recently, and he was like, we're kind of doing the same thing. Maybe we should like go in on the blue orchid thing and we can make them together. So that's something we could do in the next episode. But moving on, we'll also need access to sugar, snowballs, milk, and sweet berries for the strawberry milkshake, all those same components, and glowberries for the glowberry milkshake, and the annoyingly most complex one, chocolate milkshake, which is going to require all those same components. Chocolate bars, which I don't have any of, just pretend that's a chocolate bar, and then chocolate, which is made with these 3 components. It's a lot. But I mean, we've got tons of space in here, so we should definitely have the space to put it in here. But I got totally distracted doing all of those crafting trees. Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about the layout of this place, right? So all of the farm stuff over there, and I'm thinking we can have like a few modules where we can actually make the blocks themselves. The azurine, the crimsite, the ochrum, and the viridium. And then the rest of this facility can be either used for distribution or to make the actual farms that we're going to need to supply those generators. We'll need a bee farm so we can make the sugar. That's my preferred method, at least in this playthrough, for making sugar. It's a vanilla recipe. If I grab a bottle of honey, I can throw that into my crafting grid and it'll make 3 sugar. So that's probably what I'm going to use for this. I can make snowballs pretty easily because I already have a farm from my last series. I can just use that one and improve it a little bit. Milk is just really easy. I mean, I can just poke a cow with a deployer forever. And then each of these farms will be their own task. And all of those should fit well within this area here, hopefully. I mean, obviously, if we do end up going with the blue orchids, I'll have to ship that stuff in. But whenever it gets shipped in, I can put some vaults in here and we can store those items. And then over on this side, I have this nice yard. It's like a large area. And I kind of blew that up. There's a creeper. I need to fix that. But I'm thinking we can do some really cool like refinery towers, large vats where we can actually store like in-world placed liquids. I probably won't be able to use those for like actually supplying the milkshakes and the lava and stuff. But a nice industrial yard out here in this fence area would look really cool. I still need to... But yeah, I'm using a mechanical bearing here to actually turn this 45 degrees so I can have a nice straightaway instead of something that would switch back and forth. If I grab one final glue there and go ahead and swing that this way, place in another piece of stone right there and throw in a few more of these fence posts. That one connected to the other fence post. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. It's fine. Close enough. I should be able to use this space for something more industrial. Who am I kidding? This entire thing looks industrial. And I'm thinking over here on the backside, I can actually lay out some more of those like docks. Give a nice place for our trucks to stop and turn around. Maybe like a little bit of a parking area here or like a drop-off point. It is far too bright where that guy spawned in. That doesn't make any sense. What? Ooh, and I almost forgot. One of the most important elements of what I actually accomplished in this episode. Up on the top of the roof here, we have these really highly detailed structures. And I was thinking these could kind of look like computer components, maybe? Like this would be like a massive cooling fan. Obviously it's not spinning very fast, but whatever. We got some sort of motherboard type things over here, some sort of circular structure. And I repeated these patterns fairly easily across this entire thing. Since I'm definitely going to be able to see it from my workshop up there, I wanted this to kind of look cool. And I'll tell you what, it looks even cooler on the map. Check that out. This thing looks crazy. But if you want to see how this place really lays out, you'll have to check it out in the next episode. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. If you like the video, like it. And if you want to subscribe, you should do it. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. I don't know. Big industrial pipes. What's he doing? Big industrial pipes. Is this post credits? Big industrial pipes. It's kind of weird. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. Big industrial pipes. I forgot to put joints.